keenly, most of the fats come from carbohydrates. I want you to understand that, because anytime you eat a carbohydrate-rich diet, you're either going to use it as energy, you're going to store it as glycogen temporarily in the liver, or you're going to convert it to fat and pump it into the fat cells. Now understand, what is going into the fat cells is no longer carbohydrates, now fats. Okay, so you can burn that fat to get glucose, or you can burn that fat to get the healthiest sources of energy that are called the ketone bodies. Most of you have been brainwashed to think ketones are a problem because of people who have been diagnosed with diabetes. People who have diabetes, they experience a very big emergency that is called DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis. Now, that is not the same to somebody who is not diabetic. You see, the name is diabetic. It's actually a diabetic or a diabetes emergency. So you must be diabetic to get to diabetic ketoacidosis. The word is diabetic ketoacidosis. You just see it and you know it. So in diabetic ketoacidosis, you have high glucose in your system. You are unable to utilize it. And then now your body thinks you're starving. So now it turns to fat again to burn the fat to give you ketone bodies. And ketone bodies are acidic, so they lower the pH of blood. So now you have both high glucose and you have high ketones in the system. Two energies that you are not able to utilize. That is an emergency. On the other side, you are fasting, so you're not consuming carbohydrates. When you're not consuming carbohydrates, you end up, your body turns to the fat cells to burn them to give you either glucose or to give you ketone bodies. Now, when it gives you glucose, very minimal glucose to just maintain the blood glucose levels, the rest is actually converted to ketone bodies. That's what we call ketogenesis or ketosis. So you don't have energy, and now your body turns to anything there in the fats to burn it to give you energy. Beyond that, we move to autophagy, where now we are cleaning the cell. All the debris, the organelles that are dead in the cell, we burn them to get healthy energy. That is now autophagy. Okay, and that's where cancer people start to benefit. Those people who have autoimmune conditions start to benefit. And I put out a challenge that you eat every after 36 hours, either 36 hours or 42 hours. And that challenge, I think, will end on Monday, because tomorrow when people break their fast and they eat at noon, the next meal will come after 48 hours. That will be on Monday at noon. That tells you you'll get into ketosis, you'll go beyond ketosis, you'll get into autophagy, and then mitophagy. So you'll clean your cells and then you'll clean your mitochondria. How on earth will you ever be exposed to cancer and autoimmune conditions and any inflammatory conditions when you're actually actively involved in such types of fastings? Anytime we put up a schedule, be there. Just get involved. You need it. And you will know. Immediately you break that fast, food tastes so beautiful and so nice. So delicious. Not sweet, delicious. Sweet is sugar. Okay? Good. So fats are very essential. They are part of the macronutrients. Remember, we have the carbohydrates, which most of you consume, and you think that these are the best energy sources. So you consume carbohydrates all the time, and you've been brainwashed to think that because carbohydrates are energy giving, it was put in the syllabus. So now carbohydrates are energy giving. Now you think anytime you need energy, you have to eat a carbohydrate. No wonder in the gyms you're taking energy drinks, which are just sugars. No wonder anytime you feel low energy, you're taking tea, which has sugar. So sugar is carbohydrate, and also milk is carbohydrate. And then you're taking with a snack. And then after that, you start feeling so good. You feel comfortable about it, and you feel, now I have achieved a goal. You're lying to yourself. You're actually giving yourself a reward of feeling good through producing a hormone that is called dopamine. That hormone is the one that is keeping you addicted to foods. So when you start fasting, you reset the dopamine receptors, you reset your addictions. Once you reset your addictions, it becomes easier for you to now taste food in the natural states, and you start to realize food is not as important as you think it is, specifically carbohydrates. Now, we have carbohydrates, and then we have the protein, and then we have now the fats. On the protein, most of us have been convinced to eat lean protein. Why? Because if you eat fatty protein, you will end up clogging your arteries. This is a channel that is going to actually help you unlearn that statement. Eating lean protein can actually gain you weight for a reason. When you eat lean protein, proteins are broken down to amino acids. So you'll chop them down to amino acids and you will absorb amino acids. When you absorb amino acids, some of these amino acids will be used to form hormones and neurotransmitters for your regulation, for your body functioning. Excess of these amino acids, or some of these amino acids, will be pumped into the muscles to form structural proteins that will be used to repair your muscles and bodybuilding. Excess of those amino acids, the liver will not waste them. The body will not waste it because the body does not understand the language of wasting. it knows in future there will be a problem. So I have to store this. So what does the body do? The body will convert these excess amino acids into glucose and then into fats to be stored in fat cells for a rainy day. So as much as you want to tell me that fats are dangerous, just understand that eating lean protein is actually dangerous to you more than eating fatty meats. Fats will help you regulate appetite. Fats will make you not to overeat the protein, and you will not get excess amino acids. But if you're eating lean meat, you get excess amino acids, you're ending up getting the glucose. When you get the glucose, what is happening? You're going to spike insulin. You're going to convert glucose into fats. You store it into the fat cells. That's why people will blame meat for adding weight instead of blaming lean meat for adding weight, because meat can actually add weight if it's lean and not fatty meats. Okay, so protein, lean protein, and is in the syllabus again. Eat lean meat, avoid fatty meats. You've been avoiding fatty meats for all this time. Have you gotten better? Are you out of that prescription for hypertension? Are you out of that room that they do dialysis on you? Are you out of the diabetic drugs? No, because you're eating lean meat and the system just lied to you. They want to maintain you as a client or as a customer. So they'll do everything to make sure that you are their customer for a lifetime. And trust me, if I am a pharmacist and I have 10 diabetic clients or 10 hypertensive clients, I am paying my bills successfully. I am paying the bills. So all of us are out here to make sure that we pay bills. Okay? And that's why nowadays pharmacists are legal drug lords. So they sell drugs. They don't dispense anymore. They sell drugs. So they are legal drug lords. They just sell drugs. And the side effects come to you. Anyway, that's a story for another day. Now we move swiftly to the fats. Fats, one, they are very necessary for you. Why? Because per gram of fat, when you burn 1 gram of fat, you will get double the energy that is coming from carbohydrates and protein. So imagine this. 1 gram of carbohydrate will give you 4 calories of energy. So is protein. Protein is giving you 4. But 1 gram of fat is going to give you 9. So even if you combine 1 gram of carbohydrate and 1 of protein, you are still not matching the energy that is coming from the fat cells. So please tell me, which one among the three is actually energy giving? Please tell me. Maybe I'm the one who sees it wrong. If you're burning 1 gram of fat and 1 gram of carbohydrate, which one to you is the energy giving? And because the system has lied to you that carbohydrates are energy giving, simply put behind your mind that is a marketing strategy from the food industry. Because anytime you walk into that supermarket, everything that you're seeing on those supermarket shelves is actually carbohydrates. If it's not a carbohydrate, it has been topped out with sugar, the fructose, so that you get addicted to it. And now, when you drink that energy drink in the gym, you start feeling, oh, I have a lot of energy. This is a lot of energy. Okay, you're lifting heavy, but by the time you're pumping the second lift, you're in the mirror taking videos. Because you're even tired already. You want another sip to just spike your dopamine so that you feel good. And I will ask you this for free. How many of you eat fruits because they are healthy? This question, everybody answers, I do eat fruits because they are healthy. And then I ask the second question. If I do away with the fructose or the sugar from that banana, will you eat it? If I remove, thank you so much, Selo. Oh, amazing. If I remove sugar from that pineapple, will you eat it? Will you? How many of you eat fruits because they have vitamins? Versus how many of you eat fruits because they have sugar? How many of you? How many of you can go into the gym and lift a whole about an hour and get out just on water and salt? You go to the gym, everybody's shaking a protein shake, everybody's drinking an energy drink, everybody's eating bananas in the gym, and they think bananas are going to give them energy. That energy cannot come from the stomach. Energy comes from the fat cells. So even if you eat that banana now, there's no energy that is going to come from that stomach to give you energy to pump the weight. So when your gym trainer tells you to eat bananas to get energy and to grow big, please tell him, hey, I'm here to lead a healthy life. I'm not here to be fat. Tell them outright. So all of you, or most of you, will eat fruits because they have sugar. They will not eat fruits because no. So anyway, fats are the only macromolecule or macronutrient that cannot spike insulin. Remember, glucose, which is from the carbohydrate, will spike insulin. Fructose, which is a carbohydrate, will later on give you an insulin spike. It doesn't cause an instant spike because fructose is not glucose, so it will not cause a spike in insulin. Maybe that's the reason why it fools doctors that it, and nutritionists that it's healthy. But later on, to give you a fatty liver that will cause you insulin resistance. Therefore, insulin levels will still be up in blood. So on a later stage, it will give you a spike in insulin. But fats, okay, protein will also cause you a spike in insulin as long as they are lean proteins, because we'll convert them to glucose and will spike the insulin. But fats do not cause a spike in insulin. This is where people who have weight start to benefit from. Because when you're obese or you're overweight and you want to lose fat, it is necessary that you eat fatty foods. Because that hormone called insulin, its first role is to prevent you from burning fat to get energy. Its first role is not to pump glucose from blood into the fat cells, no. It's not even to lower blood sugars, no. The first role of insulin is to make sure that any other energy source, including the fats, is blocked from being burned so that you can only rely on what you're eating, on the glucose. And then pump it into the fat cell. So it's actually called an anti-lipolytic agent. Anti-lipolytic, it means it is against lipolysis. Lipolysis means fat burning. So if it's an anti-lipolytic agent, it prevents you from burning fat. So you keep on growing big. So anytime you spike your insulin levels, you keep on adding weight. And anytime you bring your insulin levels down, you start burning what you've stored. Because the body is not stupid. The body was storing glucose in those fat cells so that you can burn it and use it for energy when it's a rainy day. But most of you eat all the time, so you never find a chance to burn what you've stored, right? And that is a problem. Once you've understood that, you will know. If you want to lose weight, you will eat foods that will actually maintain insulin at low or even lower it further. And then you start burning the stores and you empty the fat cells. So therefore, fat, you need fat to burn fat. So that person who tells you that if you eat eggs, you'll grow fat, that if you eat fatty meats, you'll grow fat, look at them straight in the eye and tell them to explain to you what do they mean. Because in their heads, the system has lied to them that when you're eating fats, these fats are going to be carried all the way to the fat cells and they just add you weight. They just add you weight. Fats will help you lose weight. Trust me. And we'll talk about the types of these fats so that you don't confuse the oils and the fats, okay? Good. So why do we need fats anyway? One, we need fats to lose weight, right? So to maintain a healthy weight. That is one reason for eating fats or the fatty meats or the fatty foods or the saturated fats, the ghee, the tallow, the coconut oils and all that. Number two, that fat is supposed to give you cholesterol. And before you even get to cholesterol, fats will help you absorb vitamins. They are called fat-soluble vitamins. Vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. Most of you call them ADEK, others call them DECA. These are the fat-soluble vitamins, so you cannot absorb them without the fats. So when you're eating a sukuma wiki with lean protein, you're wasting time. And then that meat has been cooked in seed oils. It's a waste of that vegetable. When you're eating your vegetables without having to maybe top dress them with extra virgin olive oil, you're wasting time. You're wasting those vegetables. You'll end up getting constipation because they will overfeed the gut microorganisms and you will end up having the constipation. Then of course your doctor will come in and tell you, drink a lot of water, as though water will just move from your mouth all the way to the rectum to dilute stool and now you have a diarrhea. It's a lie. So anytime you're being told to take a lot of water and without salt to help you clear constipation, you're being lied to. You will absorb that water. That water will not go into the rectum. You will absorb that water into the system. And then you end up urinating that water and become more dehydrated. So therefore, more constipation. Amazing. Okay? So fats, energy. Also, yeah, number 3 is energy. Fats will give you energy. Just the same way we say it. 1 gram of fat gives you 9 calories of energy. Amazing, right? And then fats are actually going to contribute to you getting hormones. Because remember, there are hormones that actually come from cholesterol. We have the sex hormones. Testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. They are all coming from cholesterol. Therefore, if you don't have fats or if you don't have cholesterol in your system, you're going to get deficiencies of these hormones. Therefore, hormonal imbalance in women and therefore erectile dysfunction in men. And when you start hearing those words, you start knowing that these are the side effects of lipid or cholesterol lowering drugs. We also have muscles. Your muscles and your cells are actually made up of cholesterol, which is basically fat. Your cells are covered by a lipid bilayer. That is fats. That is cholesterol. So if you have low cholesterol or low fats, what is going to happen? The end result will be muscle wasting. The end result will be cells rupturing. On the other hand, vitamin D, not only will it be absorbed through eating fats, because it's a fat-soluble vitamin, vitamin D is also called cholecalciferol. That tells you it comes from cholesterol. It's actually cholesterol. So the cholesterol that is under your skin is the one that is actually a storage form of vitamin D. So what does it do? When you get exposure from the sun, you get exposed to the sun, what is going to happen is you're going to convert this cholesterol in your skin to inactive vitamin D. When you convert it to inactive vitamin D, that vitamin D which is inactive will be carried to your liver for further activation. And then that vitamin D from the liver that is half fully activated will be now be ferried to the kidneys for final activation. So therefore, for you to get a high immunity, or for you to get active vitamin D, one, you need cholesterol, which is fats. Number two, you need functional liver. So if you have a fatty liver, of course, your immunity goes down. Number three, you will need a functional kidney. So if you're consuming a lot of sugar, forget about vitamin D. You will end up into vitamin D deficiency. That's why you are on supplements for vitamin D. Do you see the connection? Amazing, right? Yes. So you need these things to understand. So hormones are actually coming from, and vitamin D is actually another hormone. So they're actually coming from cholesterol in the fats. So absorption of vitamin A, D, E, and K, vitamin D synthesis. What else? Also, fats are actually used to synthesize bile. Bile is that substance that is produced in the liver and then stored in the gallbladder. Some of you don't have gallbladders. They've been chopped off because of cholesterol gallstones or estrogen-related gallstones. This is the reality. For you to make bile, you need cholesterol, which is fats. That also tells you, you see, this bile is coming in to help you to digest or to sequester fats in the small intestine so that you can absorb the fats and the fat-soluble vitamins. So without bile, it is hard for you to actually absorb the fat-soluble vitamins and also absorb the fats. And now fats is being used to form bile, so which means you need fat to absorb fat. Fat will be used to form bile, which will help you to absorb and digest fat. And the same fat is actually going to give you the benefits of absorbing fat-soluble vitamins. So you cannot do without the cholesterol. Don't be lied to. It's very important for you. Again, your brain is cushioned by cholesterol. Again, your nerves are covered by a small layer, a thin layer that is called the myelin sheath. That myelin sheath is actually cholesterol. And you know very well that those nerves that are covered by that insulator are the ones that transmit impulses faster. Okay, they transmit impulses faster. So if you don't have cholesterol, most of your nerves are non-myelinated and therefore low impulse transmission. So how can we do without fats? How? How can we even start approaching a weight loss journey without eating fats? Do you see the benefits of fats? So when somebody comes to you and tells you cholesterol is a problem, start telling them, hey, where? Now you see, Adesuwa has just decided to slap us with a super chat of 10 pounds. Amazing. Adesuwa, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you for everybody who is gifting us and sending us these chats. It shows that you really know and understand our language and is becoming more interesting to you. So thank you. Okay? So start eating fats, because these are the function of the fats. And we've not even gotten into the metabolism. We're just talking about the functions only. But before I even forget, there's another hormone that is called the prostaglandins. Ladies, prostaglandins, PGs. These are very important for your menstrual cycle. Because remember, for that contraction of the uterus to happen so that you slow off the already worn out, what do you call it? The already worn out endometrium, the inside part of the uterus, so that you get the menses. You need those hormones that are called prostaglandins that stimulate the contraction of the uterus. Guess where they're coming from? Hello? These same hormones, the prostaglandins, are the ones that are supposed to actually maintain or actually pump out the baby when you're going to give birth. Imagine that. That's why those drugs that are used for abortion, the misoprostol, the mifepristone, these are drugs that are actually prostaglandin analogs. They behave as the same prostaglandins that you produce naturally. So they activate prostaglandin receptors so that they contract the uterus and you pump out. Okay? So they are very important. Also, somebody is saying, There's somebody who, yeah, exactly. By the way, sometimes they are used as contraceptives because when they contract, the sperm cannot go up. Okay? Yes. So you need to understand that too. So that was a good point. Thank you. So imagine that. Again, another hormone that is called aldosterone. You see, on top of your kidneys, there is a gland called the adrenal gland, a small gland on the top of the kidneys. That gland produces adrenal hormones, the adrenaline, norepinephrine, and all that. But most importantly, produces two other hormones. One is aldosterone. Aldosterone is a hormone that tells the kidneys, hey, the blood pressure is going up, please urinate more. When you urinate more, the blood volume falls, the blood pressure falls. When the blood pressure is going lower, this same hormone tells the kidneys it's now time for you to reabsorb back the salts, reabsorb back water so that the blood volume goes up and then blood pressure goes up. Amazing. Which means cholesterol is actually involved in regulation of blood pressure. But what does the system tell you? That cholesterol is going to clog your arteries and cause you hypertension, right? Hey. I don't know. Sometimes I go through the syllabus nowadays and I just like, really, did we have to go through this, all this? I believe we totally crammed just pass the exam to get the qualification. People just crammed to just make sure they have a 50 because, you know, in medicine, as long as you get a 50, you're good to go. 50 only, you just want a 50. Some of you got 49 and you just pulled, they added you 2 marks so that you just get over the line, so that you can easily graduate. And now you're on the podium, you're raising your hand and the oath, you're reading the oath as a group. The Hippocratic oath. And then everybody's clapping for you because, you know, medical students, these are the stars. These are the ones who are going to change the lives in the future. But look at them, finding it difficult to comprehend small concepts in biochemistry. It is there that aldosterone is a steroid hormone. Steroids come from cholesterol. Same to sex hormones. Same to another hormone that is produced by the same adrenal gland that is called cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. Stress hormone. How will you handle stress internally and even externally without cholesterol? The fats. How? No wonder you're avoiding that fatty meat and you still have that arthritis. And now guess what? You go to hospital and somebody injects you Diprofos injection in your knees, a steroid injection in your knees, because your internal production of steroids is zero, is messed up. So your adrenals are actually shutting down. And the more I inject you with an external steroid, the more I shut down the adrenal glands. Imagine that. So the more I inject you with a steroid injection, I'm masking symptoms. I'm actually allowing arthritis to survive from within. Somebody is telling you avoid red meat, avoid all these things, but nobody's telling you to avoid wheat. Nobody's telling you to avoid inflammatory seed oils. Nobody's telling you to avoid sugar. That is actually killing the adrenals, which will make it difficult for the adrenals to produce enough cortisol that will suppress inflammation, that will suppress autoimmune conditions, that will suppress stress levels. So they don't want you to do that naturally. They want you to actually fail naturally so that they can produce or give you now a synthetic steroid. That is business. So that they can now give you supplements. When they give you a synthetic steroid, and then they give you collagen supplements for your joints, instead of telling you to eat red meat and fatty meats to avoid all these problems, they will rather tell you not to eat meat, but they'll print meat still. They'll give you printed meat. So they tell you to avoid red meat, and then they bring to you sausages. How many of you are not eating red meat, but they are busy eating sausages for breakfast? Red meat nimbaya. And then you're eating sausages every morning. Now, most of you are blaming red meat, yet you go in a pub or in a club and you order a half kg of meat, you eat it, and then you top dress it with alcohol. Now you're blaming red meat, but defending alcohol. Hello? So now alcohol is better than red meat. As long as you take it in moderation. But do not eat red meat. Don't even moderate. Stay away from red meat. But drink alcohol in moderation. And then you're expecting your arthritis to go away. You're expecting your fatty liver to go away. You're joking. When you come to me and you ask me, Daktari, I take whiskey or a wine because wine is good for the stomach. The Bible says wine is good for the stomach. I'm like, okay. Choose you. Do you want to drink the wine, or do you want to get healthier? Choose you. Alcohol is alcohol, just the same way sugar is sugar, regardless of the source. Tuko pamoja? We can now start moving slowly. Now, when you hear fats, this is what they're talking about. They're talking about something that has a head and has a tail. This is the easiest way to put it out to you. So we have a head. That head is what we call the glycerol. And then the tails are what we call the free fatty acids. So when you have one tail, that is what we call monoglyceride. So monoglycerol. Mono is one tail, and then one head that is glycerol, so monoglyceride. When you have two tails on that head, we call that diglyceride. When you have three tails, that is triglycerides. And you realize the triglycerides are the ones that are most abundant. Now, you've seen on your cholesterol test, the results that come out, we have LDL cholesterol, HDL cholesterol, and then we have triglycerides. And then everybody escapes or avoids the triglycerides and focuses on LDL, which they call the bad cholesterol. I talked about cholesterol in a video before, and I told you there's nothing like that. LDL is not a bad cholesterol. It's actually just called a bad cholesterol to make you think that it's a dangerous one. And every time you think that's a bad cholesterol, you are on the road to taking a statin. So it's time for you to change your mindset. Hey, this gentleman is feeling so. Thank you so much, Selo, man. Hey. You're gifting us a lot, and that's just appreciated, man. It's so much appreciated. So thank you. So, free fatty acids. Now, you see the tails. Those tails are what classify these fatty acids. They classify the oils and the fats. So when you have a tail, which we said they are the free fatty acids, so you have a tail that has double bonds. If it has one double bond on the tail, that is what we call unsaturated. Remember, a double bond is what we call unsaturation, because it doesn't have enough hydrogens. But a single bond has all the hydrogens, 4 of them. That is what we call saturated. Remember the video that I talked about saturated and unsaturated fats? Go and check that video, the live that I did on seed oils. So when you have this tail having double bonds, that is the sign of unsaturation. When you have these tails having single bonds, there's no double bond, that is what we call saturated. I told you, the saturated fats are very stable because the carbon is held together tightly. So even if you expose them to heat, they will not oxidize. And these ones, because of that closeness, they actually appear solid at room temperature. The other ones which are unsaturated, and they have multiple double bonds, they are called poly for multiple, and then unsaturated fatty acids. Poly, multiple double bonds. Unsaturated, they have double bonds. So your seed oil or your vegetable oil is actually a polyunsaturated fatty acid. The tail is full of double bonds. These double bonds are very unstable. When you hit them, they oxidize. They give you problems. Now you get the difference between saturated and unsaturated fats. The glycerol is still the same. The head is still the same. The tail is the difference. Thank you so much for following us. V, I appreciate you. Fali, I also see you. I see all of you. So those tails are the ones that bring problems to you. When they oxidize, they form reactive oxygen species that actually cause systemic inflammation, and they cause all this inflammation in the system. The radicals, they start destroying, they start causing mutations in the mitochondria, and that's where cancer hails from. But what does the syllabus say? What does the American Heart Association say about cooking oils? They actually recommend canola, which is a seed oil that comes from rape seeds. Seed oils are unsaturated, actually polyunsaturated fatty acids. Very unstable. But that's what your Heart Association recommends to us. And poor Africans, we are there with the syllabus. We are there every time with the new guidelines from the American Heart Association. America is leading in obese people. Almost 40% of the population is obese and overweight. But they are dictating nutrition guidelines to Africans. Where are we? Why are we this way though? Why? Why? Is it because we consider white people to be superior or something? Are we just inferior? Is it an inferiority complex? Listen, your great-grandfather used to eat saturated fats, the animal fats, and nothing happened to him. He died at 100 years. You are only 30. You're already on a statin. 30 years on a statin. You're not even a quarter the years that your grandfather lived, and you're on a statin. Are you even serious? Now you take a statin, the next thing you're having is hypertension, because we said cholesterol is going to produce hormones that control blood pressure. So you take a statin and the side effect number one is blood pressure, hypertension, high blood pressure. You take a statin, you lower hormones. Now women, hormonal imbalances. Now men, erectile dysfunction. And guess what? For hormonal imbalance, the system has a drug for you, the hormonal contraceptives. For erectile dysfunction, the same system has a drug for you, sildenafil, aka Viagra. So now you have a drug that is going to give you about 7 side effects, and each side effect has another drug. Are you now wondering why your prescription has more than 10 drugs, 5 of which are treating side effects of one drug? 5 are treating side effects. So we give you side effects and then we treat the side effects again. Aye. Now we are allowing them to vaccinate our animals. It's all over. Now we are allowing them to bring in GMO for the sake of food production. We increase food productivity. We don't even have seeds that can actually, you can plant them and they regrow. They can't. Once they've grown once, it's done. You cannot use that seed to grow again, to regrow another. It's not possible. Now they bring you fertilizers that don't know even where they're coming from. So at least for those who took the sand or the soil and bought it expensively, you would have gotten the fertilizer, which will be a mess, because just chemicals that we don't even know. They are not even approved by our regulatory bodies. And they don't use them in their countries, but they give it to us. So when you hear something called a donation, be very careful. A donation, it is supposed to be something that can be used in their country, and now they can donate to other countries. But look at these glyphosates, the chemicals, the herbicides. They cannot use them in their own countries. They are not used in Europe, but they are here. They are being pumped here. Where is our manure? Where? Where did we used to dig pits and then fill in with all this cow dung and all these maize cobs and all that, and then they rot and they give us healthy manure. We use it. We used to use ash on our sukuma wiki as a pesticide. Ash from the kitchen. Where did that practice go to? Did we become so old age or stone age? Was that so stone age that now we cannot use that? We are now modernized. We now want fertilizers from the industries. Now we want pesticides from the industries. Do you see it? My role is to open up your third eye. Once you have that eye opened, oh, you will be looking at the government and you'll be just laughing. Anytime. And by the way, this is the reason why you should avoid news. Mainstream media, a waste of time. Anyway, let us continue. We shall be heard, right? Even if they strike us, we shall be heard. We shall bring it back. And as long as you guys have the information, I am good to go. I am good to go. So, now on another misconception here, before I even go to the misconception, let me just explain you something. You see, the weird part here is that when you're using tallow to cook your foods, okay, this is part of the misconception, but I'll tackle it here anyway. So when you're using tallow to cook your foods, most often you will see the tallow will start to solidify on your plate. If you delay eating that food, you'll start having the tallow or the ghee solidifying on your plate, right? That's a good one. That shows you a good fat. But why are you staying with the plate with food for 30 minutes? Because you're on TikTok. There are people right now who are on this live and they are eating. They don't even have respect for food. So you're eating at the same time you're on TikTok. Nowadays, the phone has actually made sure that families have been broken. The bonds on the table, on the dinner table, is not there anymore. A father is on TikTok, scrolling up and down all through, and he gets even upset because the videos that you want to come up, they're not coming. So he gets even upset when he scrolls up and meets Dr. Lewi's video. He's like, this one is talking about semen retention every day, semen retention. This one is talking about hormonal contraceptives, and yesterday I just put my woman on hormonal contraceptives. I don't want this one. So he's even getting upset because he has just come across my video. And now all this anger is being pumped to the wife and the children. On the other side, the wife is busy fantasizing about the new TikToker, trying to do a challenge. Hey. This other side, children are having phones. They are busy watching pornography with earphones. So nobody's talking to each other. The bond is broken. Nowadays, I remember before phones came, before phones were something, because in our village there was one guy who had a phone. That time I think credit was about 500 shillings. And you look for network. Sagem 3020. Do you remember that phone that used to light blue? Sagem 3020. So this guy, there was only one guy with the phone. So you would go to see this guy and you'll be charged because now the credit is expensive. But look at it this way. Before those days now, before the phones came in, the time I sat on the dinner table and then I just slid in my chair like this. Hey, I met my wrath. Before I could settle in that position to just enjoy the meal on top of the table, I had received a very serious slap from my mother. Yeah. No wonder I started resenting her. I received a serious slap, and that set me back to factory settings. I don't know how I came back to my normal position on the table. So from that time, from that day, I knew the table is a no-play zone. You go there, you eat as you have a polite conversation with the parents, and you bond as a family. Nowadays, nothing is happening of the sort. Everybody is in their corner, busy doing their own things. Others are in the name of doing content. Others sit on a dinner table or sit on a table, and what they do, they are on a live, showing us what they are eating. Have you seen that? They are busy showing you that they can afford these foods. Because they want external validation. They want you to tell them, oh, you are living a good life. How many of them shop and then post it for you? They want you to know they are doing well. You as their follower, you are suffering. I mean, hey, send me the gifts so that I can go and shop for 53,000 shillings. And now you suffer. Okay? But they don't know they are the ones who are suffering, because with that money, they're going to buy the seed oils, the bread, the wheat, all those things, and they show you. And then when they get sick, they are the ones to hold a TikTok live and tell you, oh, endometriosis one day die. Oh, cancer is hey. Yeah? Somebody is busy taking a bite on a burger at KFC and is now bragging on a live. Yeah? Immediately after Maandamano, now it's time for us to thank ourselves. 2 years down the line, the same guy on TikTok live. Guys, I love you so much, you my fans. You've been so supportive, and I'm unable to raise funds. Please. Yeah? Put a button on our phone so that we can download when you're eating. We can download so that you can share that food. When we share that food, we will also share the problem. When you have that cancer, we'll share all of us. And then we'll come in handy. We will now send money through you. Hey, please. Celebrities, thank you. Thank you for your noise. It's enough. Anyway, back to our fats. So when fat is solidifying on your plate, there was somebody seated somewhere and he understood the assignment. Remember, I told you that the company that brought in seed oils in our plates was called Crisco. So that company is the one that actually thought, these seed oils, the lubricants for machines are very available and they're cheap. So we can actually change them and sell them to these people. And they started selling them to you. And now they told you that these fats that you're eating, the animal fat, the tallow, the lard, are dangerous. And they told our great-grandfathers, you see they solidify on your plates. This is the same way they are going to solidify in your blood vessels. And they will clog your arteries and they'll cause you heart attack. Our African people, because this is a white person and he has a gun, so he must be so sharp than me. So what they did, they dropped their lard, their tallows, and they embraced this. My friends, 5-10 years into it, heart diseases shot up. And the American Heart Association was coming up. It was a very small organization, 2 to 3 people. And now this Crisco company realized that this is a channel. So because this is an American Heart Association, we can actually fund them and we use them to lure these people into buying more of our products. So they came up with a TV show, and that TV show was actually telling people about healthy living. Now imagine a seed oil company advising you about healthy eating. Yeah? This takes you back to 2016 when that mainstream media was hosting that weight loss program, and the company that was sponsoring that weight loss program was actually a seed oil company. Hello, the one in Thika. Thank you. So this company funds now, all the revenue that is coming from that television show are actually being pumped to this American Heart Association. Now, I told you 98% of studies agree with whoever funds them. When you are asking me peer-reviewed papers and research, 98% of those research that you are reading right now, they actually agree or conform to what their funder, the person who is funding them, is saying. Very biased. And now because they're coming from Harvard University, Professor blah 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 from Harvard University, you're there taking the seed oils, guzzling them like crazy. Do you ever ask yourself, you have not been using tallow, how do you have high cholesterol? You've never used tallow before. You've never. You actually said it smells bad. How did you then end up having high cholesterol? Yeah? Hey. Some of you though, hey, oh no, doctor, if you tell me to eat tallow, I'll get cholesterol. Cholesterol will clog my arteries. I'll not breathe. My heart will be clogged and I'll get stroke and heart attacks. But you came here because you have hypertension, you have a risk of stroke, you had a mini stroke before, you had even a mild stroke and you're on treatment without ever consuming tallow and ghee. How did you end up there? Yeah? Let me sit back and listen. How did you end up there? Where did you get the cholesterol from? Hey, listen. One day you'll understand that one function of the liver is to make cholesterol. When you go to the mode of action of these drugs, the statins, the phenofibrates, you'll understand that some of these drugs block the liver from making cholesterol. So therefore, your liver is the major organ that synthesizes cholesterol. And a larger amount of your daily requirement of cholesterol comes from the liver, not from the diet. If you avoid eating cholesterol-rich diets, the liver will compensate by making more. The liver will make more. Because cholesterol comes in to fix problems that have been caused by sugar and the seed oils, inflammation. Once you get that in your head, we are good to go. So where are we sourcing fats? Number one, we are sourcing fats from the liver. That is number one, the liver. A larger percentage of fat is coming from the liver. Number two, diets. 15% of your cholesterol daily requirement is actually from the diets. So the problem is, most of you focus on the diet and you ignore what the liver is making. So you're focusing on the diet, withdrawing the diet that are rich in cholesterol, you end up having all these side effects of low cholesterol. And then now you go for a drug, but you're not focusing on what is making more cholesterol, the liver, as number one. Number three, cholesterol and fats are coming from the adipose. Whatever you stored in the fat cells, that's another source of cholesterol or for the fats. So we have three sources of fats: the liver, the diets, and the fat cells. So even if you withdraw the diets, you still have the fat cells and you still have the liver. Okay? And then now I take you straight to drugs that are supposed to lower these fats in your system. Why are you so scared of cholesterol? By now, okay, by now, on this conversation, if you're on this live, tell me if you're still afraid of cholesterol. Just raise your hand. If you still feel so afraid of cholesterol, raise your hand. Wave at me if you're still afraid of this cholesterol. Yeah? Even after me talking to you about this, and you can choose not to trust what I'm saying. You can choose not to trust it. But at least ask yourself, how did you end up having high cholesterol when you're not eating these foods? Now, one of my clients, a very good guy, is suffering from arthritis. And apparently, he comes from a background that is full of medics. And a good thing is, one of the medics is actually a rheumatologist. So this guy is suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. He has suffered, bana, and he was told to drop meat, red meat. For over a year, he dropped red meat. He was on drugs for rheumatoid arthritis. Thank you, Waibara. So then, a year down the line of taking these drugs faithfully and dropping red meat completely, the pain is still there. So this guy goes back to this consultant, the consult, okay? And then asks the consultant, bro, you know, you're my relative, and I just want to ask you some few questions. And for the relative to block him out, he's like, hey, you know I'm a busy guy. You being my relative, you understand my schedule, right? At least don't bring this conversation here. You know very well I am a busy guy and I have to attend to more patients. So make it short. So this guy says, oh, okay, I'm sorry, sir. Let me make it easier. Why do I have this pain a year after taking these drugs faithfully? And a year after dropping red meat? Why? And then now, because the rheumatologist wants to thumb chest himself, he wants to show this guy that these drugs are actually working. He sends this guy to the lab to do to do a uric acid test. Well, this guy has been eating pudding, fruit pudding at lunch hour every single day, and he's fasting on fruit pudding. Hey, so so this guy, hey, kidney system. So this guy says, okay, maybe this guy has an idea. So let me go to the lab and do a uric acid test. My friend, uric acid test from 200 to 456. It has even exceeded the higher level. Aye, the guy is like, what? So now at least I have a substantive study. Now he goes to the to the rheumatologist and tells him, hey, Waluya mnajua hotsa, please hotsa. I have avoided red meat for 1 year. I am faithful on drugs for 1 year. Now, why is my uric acid still in the air? Actually, it has actually gone the highest. Why? Hey, professor says, these are exceptions don't make the rule. Okay, these are special cases, and exceptions don't make the rule. You are among the 1% who take drugs, and your uric acid goes up. I'm like, why? 6 weeks into diets, a simple fast, basically 3 days of a 16-8 and 4 days of 16-8 and 3 days of a 24-hour fast. No fruits, totally. No wheat. The guy tells me the uric acid levels are back to 186. I'm like, oh my goodness. So you keep taking the statins, hoping that because you have a consultant, you have a family doctor, you have the best in the game. They are coming from private hospitals. You're forgetting these are the doctors that are employed on public hospitals. They're just doing a locum on private hospitals. The same thing they tell you the other side is the same thing they're telling you in the private hospitals. And some of them have their own hospitals. So you just go there and they want to pay bills. They want to survive in the market. So they will make sure that you stay sick. Some of them are even taking drugs. They pull a drawer, they pop a pill. They are depressed. They are taking antidepressants. So how do you expect somebody who is depressed on antidepressants to actually take you off antidepressants? Misery loves company. Be very careful. The syllabus was designed to brainwash a few, to brainwash the entire masses. Thank you. Now, these are drugs that lower cholesterol. Drugs that will actually cause you more problems than they help you. And remember, about 50 years ago, cholesterol levels of 250 were very normal. 250. Now, if you have cholesterol levels of 200, you're told, risk of stroke. You must take high doses of statin. Take them every single night. Do you know why they tell you to take them at night? So number one on the group is the statins. Statins, the likes of atorvastatin, rosuvastatin. I will not mention the trade names because, of course, you know the reason why. But we have the statins, the atorvastatin, the simvastatin, the rosuvastatin. They end with the word statin. That's why they're called the statins. What do? I want you to be very clear on this one. One, you will be told to stop eating cholesterol-rich foods. You will be told to drop the eggs. You will be told to drop the fatty meats. You will be told to not eat saturated fats, the ghee, the tallow, the coconut oil, and all that. You will be told to go to the vegetable oils, right? Even though your doctor does not know the vegetable that is present in the vegetable oils. So they will tell you, go and use vegetable oils. And then you ask your doctor, what vegetable oil is present in canola? He doesn't know. There's none. What vegetable is present in this seed oil that you're advising me? There is no vegetable. So he doesn't even know the vegetable. Now, so you've been told to drop the cholesterol-rich foods. And then you realize, after dropping those foods, your cholesterol levels are still going up. And then you go to your doctor and you ask why. The doctor tells you, oh, now this is misbehaving because possibly it's genetics. Okay? So what do? We have to give you a drug to block the liver from making cholesterol. Remember, the reason why cholesterol is going up after you dropped foods that are rich in cholesterol is because the liver compensated to give you more cholesterol because you're eating wheat, you're eating seed oils and sugars that are actually causing you systemic inflammation. When they're causing you systemic inflammation, now the liver has to produce more cholesterol because cholesterol comes in to fix inflammation. It gives you the cortisol that fixes inflammation. Now, when you're having this systemic inflammation, the liver is making more cholesterol. You see the relationship? So you drop the cholesterol foods, and now your body had to turn to the liver to bring up the cholesterol to actually help you fix sugar, seed oils, and wheat products problems. Now you blame now the cholesterol that is actually coming in as a bandage to actually heal the wounds. So you now blame the cholesterol. So it's going up. And now the doctor tells you, you stop the diets, because I expect if I stop the diets that are rich in cholesterol, my cholesterol levels are supposed to go down automatically. Or what do you think? Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? If you don't eat cholesterol foods, we expect your cholesterol levels are supposed to go down, right? So why have you stopped eggs? Why have you stopped the saturated fats? Why have you stopped the fatty meats? And you're still using a statin or a cholesterol lowering drug? Why? See, I thought tukiacha chakula za cholesterol, your cholesterol levels go down. What happened? What changed? What changed that I've stopped the foods and my cholesterol is still going up? Don't you think? Because the body needs cholesterol. Yes, that is true. The body needs cholesterol, so the liver will make more cholesterol. Now you're given a drug now, after even dropping the foods, now you have to take a drug to stop the liver from making cholesterol. Atorvastatin or the statins actually block an enzyme in the liver that is called HMG-CoA. That enzyme is the one that the liver uses to synthesize cholesterol. So now, drop the foods and then come here. It's not enough. Let's slap you with a drug that will block a biological function, that will block the liver from making cholesterol. When did the liver make something that will kill you? A liver cannot make a poison. It actually helps you to detoxify the system. So how can the liver make something that will destroy you? How? That one day the liver wakes up and makes toxins that will kill you? How? It's making it for the sake of you. It's a homeostatic balance. It has to balance things. So now you take a statin that blocks the liver from making cholesterol. But do you know, one side effect of statins is a fatty liver. They destroy the liver, inflammation of the liver, hepatitis. So imagine taking a drug that is going to block the liver from making cholesterol, and then you end up hurting the same liver. So statins give you an inflamed liver, hepatitis, as side effect number one. Number two, you will now lower the cholesterol. Therefore, systemic inflammation will be even higher. So your ability to curb inflammation in the system is actually diminished. Problems. Now, you drop cholesterol and your sex hormones are now going down and misbehaving. The imbalance is there. So ladies will be put on hormonal contraceptives for 3 months. Problems. You drop cholesterol in men, testosterone goes down. Men become so effeminate. Erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, and low sperm count is coming in. And guess what? For those 3 conditions, there's a solution, in quotes. Now your cells are being affected because the lipid bilayer, the lipid membrane that is actually covering the cells and the organelles is actually being distorted. So problems. There's something called rhabdomyolysis. This means your muscles are wasting. So you start having very weird, the muscles are so wasted, you don't even have the energy to lift anything. And your guy who is going to the gym and you're avoiding cholesterol and you're hoping to build muscles is a lie. Now you're starting to lose memory because the cushion of the brain, which is cholesterol, is now being diminished. Now you start having numbness as a side effect of statins. Why? Because the nerves that are supposed to be covered by a myelin sheath, the insulator, which is cholesterol, is now not there. Problems. Hey, problems after problems after problems. So one drug will give you 7 other drugs. One drug on that prescription of yours will give you 7 other drugs. There's a drug for memory loss. There's a drug for muscle wasting. There's a supplement for muscle wasting. There's a drug for erectile dysfunction. There's always a supplement for low sperm count. There's a hormonal contraceptive for women who have hormonal imbalances. All these drugs are actually coming in. And did you know statins actually hurt the kidneys? Therefore, dialysis is actually coming your way. Somebody's asking me which foods have cholesterol. Fish has cholesterol. Fatty meats have cholesterol. The saturated fats, ghee, tallow, coconut oil, lard, butter, all these have cholesterol. Eggs have cholesterol. Chicken skin has cholesterol. Do not ever do away with the chicken skin. All those foods have cholesterol. You need them. Good. Number 2 class of cholesterol lowering drugs, they are called the fibrates. Some of you are using phenofibrate. And you're thinking, oh, maybe because Daktari talked about statins, I can use this one. This one is a safer one. No stopping the liver from making cholesterol. Now, phenofibrate comes in. You see, you produce cholesterol to come into the blood vessel to actually cover the inflammation that is happening in the blood vessels so that we start a healing process, right? Just the same way you go to hospital and you're bandaged when you have a wound, they bandage that wound. So that cholesterol is actually acting like that bandage to start the healing process. And guess what happens? So now phenofibrates or the fibrates, they come in and sweep off all these bandages from the bloodstream. It's like building a wall and then somebody comes and kicks the wall. Yeah. Yeah? Hey, that way. And guess what? The side effects are just the same way as the statins, but more inflammation now. Here we also have the gallstones, because now you're lowering cholesterol and now you end up having the bile stone, the gallstones in the gallbladder, and now you have to chop off a gallbladder. When you chop off a gallbladder, you are unable to produce bile or to store bile that is supposed to be used to digest and sequester fats in the small intestine so that you can absorb fats and fat-soluble vitamins. Now also this one causes hepatitis, an inflamed liver. And then muscle wasting is also part of that. So those are side effects. So are you willing to take the journey of just getting all these problems? No wonder people are treated for diseases and then they still die from the same diseases. So your doctor actually is very clever. When he's writing that statin, he's telling you, this one is going to help you to recover from a stroke or prevent yourself from getting a stroke, yeah? And then you take that drug and one day you get a stroke. And the only thing they do is either they change the drug or they increase the dose. And then of course you'll die of a stroke or a heart attack. And they will say, no, we managed him through guidelines. We gave him statins. We gave him all these drugs to lower cholesterol. So they will actually blame you. And they will say, he died of a stroke. I died of a stroke when I was on a statin, on a fibrate, on hypertensive drugs. Why? How? That's the same way you die from diabetes and the complication of diabetes, even though you've been treating diabetes. You get the point? So you ask yourself, why did your relative die from kidney failure, which is a complication of diabetes, but he was on drugs for diabetes? How did they end up having a stroke, a hemorrhagic stroke, when they are on drugs for hypertension? How did they end up having a kidney transplant? How did they end up having a surgery of the eye when they were treating diabetes with drugs? So what happened? What changed that these guys still suffered the complication of diabetes? I expect if you're giving me drugs to actually help me manage my diabetes, I will not get to the symptoms or to the complications. So why am I taking drugs and still ending up on the complications? You just let me be. Just let me, no, do not take these drugs. You just go ahead, because at the end of it all, even if you take these drugs, you still end up getting the complications. So why don't you just let me get the complications anyway? Anyway, that is number 2. Number 3, we have the bile acid sequestrants. Here, don't even cram the groups. You just understand the drugs. And I'm mentioning these drugs in the group because there are people who are using these drugs. They don't know where these drugs are. They are just been told that these drugs will lower your cholesterol. And you don't know these are actually drugs that are going to affect you. Number 3 on the list is actually what we call the bile acid sequestrants. These examples, cholesterol. Now, anytime you buy a drug, there's that big name there that is written on R. That's the company name. So don't worry about that. Read the smaller name here. Like you see a drug like Maramoja. Don't bother about Maramoja. Read the small word here. That is paracetamol. That's the active ingredient. That's what you should be considering. So the names that I'm mentioning here, like this cholesterol and cholestyramine, these are actually the names, the generic names for those drugs that lower cholesterol. So when you focus on reading the brand names, the company names, you will not get anything. You need to read the generic names. And you realize most doctors are prescribing using the company names, the brand names. That tells you that that doctor is under a payslip from a pharmaceutical company. So he writes a brand name and then says, do not substitute. He's actually getting paid. He's on a payroll from that company. Yes, they get commissions from this. So doctors are supposed to prescribe in generic names. You're not supposed to write Brufen. You're supposed to write ibuprofen. You're not supposed to write Lipita. You're supposed to write atorvastatin. So that anybody who is issuing atorvastatin issues atorvastatin from any company, not just one company. So when your prescription is full of brand names, and brand names I've just told you, on that drug, when you read the drug, you'll see there's that bigger name that is a company name that has an R the trademark, and then we have the smaller name here that is written on maybe paracetamol BP or paracetamol USP. That is the generic name. Do not go for the brand name. And when you turn that box of the drug, on the ingredient side, you will see it written on each tablet of this contains 500 milligrams paracetamol. Those are what you're supposed to read, not the bigger name, not the name on the box, the bigger one. Read at the ingredient side. You will see the ingredients in that drug. Some of you don't read those. You just see the bigger name and you're good to go. Your doctor just writes the brand name, and then you go and buy it from a pharmacy. You're told, here tuna. So you're busy looking for a specific brand, yet the mode of action is the same. Anyway, let's continue. So for the for the cholestyramine and the cholestyramine, what do? They trap bile in the small intestines. Listen to this. Bile is coming from the gallbladder, from the liver, and then it comes down through the bile duct and into the pancreatic duct, and then joins the small intestines at the sphincter of Oddi. Do not cram that. Just know it comes out through a hole that is called the sphincter of Oddi into the duodenum. And when it gets into the duodenum, what it does is it breaks down the fat globules, the larger fat globules, into small globules so that you can absorb them. And then so that you can mix them with fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, and then you can absorb them. That is the reason why you have bile. And bile comes from cholesterol. So if you don't eat cholesterol, you will not be able to digest fat. You will have problems. Now, somebody is telling me, continue Hotza. Hey, for those of you who don't know, Hotza is uncle in Lu here. Now, so what these drugs, they do, they actually make sure that bile does not go anywhere. It's just sequestered in the small intestines. When that happens, the liver starts to think that I'm not doing enough work. So it keeps on producing bile. And bile is coming from cholesterol. So as it keeps on producing bile, cholesterol levels go down because it's now depleting the raw materials of cholesterol. Okay, that's how it lowers cholesterol. So we make sure that bile is stuck in the small intestines so that the liver makes more bile from cholesterol, and therefore we deplete the raw material, which is cholesterol. And now we bring down cholesterol levels. But look at it this way. If you stick this bile in the small intestines, you're going to stick fat in the small intestines, and you're going to get a very serious diarrhea. That's why one of the side effects is actually diarrhea. And that diarrhea, or that even stool that you're getting out, is very fatty. It has a layer of fat. Now that layer of fat, when you try to flush that stool into your toilet, it does not go anywhere. It simply rotates and comes back. Unajaribu kuflush, inaenda tu and then comes back and floats on the on the water on the loo. That's a side effect of these drugs. Yeah, diarrhea and steatorrhea. We call it steatorrhea, basically a fatty stool. Okay, a very bad feeling. So the end result is to lower cholesterol. The side effects are the same because we are lowering cholesterol in the system, the same. And this one also brings you the gallstones. Okay, so most of these drugs actually affect cholesterol levels and they bring you the gallstones. Good. So what are the side effects of the bile acid sequestrants? Remember, we are sticking the bile and the fat into the small intestine, so therefore, absorption of fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K is diminished. You will need a supplement for that. Bloating, diarrhea, and a fatty stool. Let's move on swiftly. There's another one that is called vitamin B3. Vitamin B3 is called niacin. Niacin, on lower levels, is a vitamin B3. On higher levels, it is now a cholesterol-lowering drug. Hello? These are the water-soluble vitamins. By the way, we should do a live on water-soluble vitamins and the fat-soluble vitamins. Just explain the basics around it. So one day we'll do that. But niacin is vitamin B3. And vitamin B3, on lower levels, is actually now a vitamin. Very good for you. On higher levels, problems. It's now lowering cholesterol, which is a problem. Do not confuse niacin with nicotine. They are not the same. This one is niacin, vitamin B3. Okay? And this one has a very weird side effect. Listen to this. And I want to show you how the system operates. They give you a drug, and then they give you a drug for side effects of that drug. So this drug causes you a very serious flushing on the face. Why? Because it causes excessive production of prostaglandins. So you get this serious flushing on the head, on the face. You get this redness of the face, and it's very itchy. And guess what the doctors write as a drug that is used to do away with this? It is a prostaglandin inhibitor, aspirin. So you take vitamin B3 to help you lower cholesterol, You get the flushing, and they even warn you. They tell you this one will bring you a lot of flushing. You'll have very bad face and all that. So what do you do to reverse that? You simply continue taking this one. Don't worry. No. You cannot stop these drugs, can you? Don't stop. If you stop, you will die. So continue taking this drug. But here is another drug to just mask the symptoms of flushing. So they give you now aspirin or an NSAID. Eh? Now, what did we say about NSAIDs? We said NSAIDs mess up your kidneys, right? Because they lower the patency or the blood flow. They reduce the blood flow towards the kidneys. So they actually affect your kidneys. And we said cholesterol lowering drugs actually affect the kidneys. Double tragedy to the kidneys. Now, kidneys regulate blood pressure. Therefore, hypertension is coming as a result of you using drugs to lower cholesterol. Are we together? Hey. Sometimes, just take time. Walk into a library anywhere, take a medical book and start reading. It might be very confusing, but just take time and read. You'll get to understand these things easily. Somebody is saying, I'm lost. Now, let me take you back. So you took a drug that was intended to lower cholesterol, right? And then it caused you production of excessive hormones that are called prostaglandins that are actually coming from the same cholesterol. And then now you have this hot flushing in your face, just the same way women experience menopause. And this hot flushing is because of excessive production of hormones because of this drug called vitamin B3, the niacin. Now, for us to actually do away with these hot flashes in your face, we don't stop the drug. No, you have to continue with the drug, Why would you stop the drug? So you will die. So continue with this drug. And now let's give you another drug that will clear the side effects. So now we are giving you a problem, and then we are giving you a solution. So once we give you this drug, that will clear the flushing. Well done, flushing is gone. But this drug is an NSAID, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. One of the side effects of the NSAIDs, specifically aspirin, is a gut problem. So it causes gastritis. And of course, what do we give you? Either omeprazole or we give you an antacid. So another drug for the side effects of another drug that was treating side effects for another drug. Now, we have a problem with the kidneys because these drugs that are called NSAIDs actually reduce blood flow towards the kidneys. So they affect the kidneys. And the kidneys are the organs that actually control or regulate blood pressure. So now you take a drug to lower cholesterol, and the intention is to prevent you from getting hypertension. But you end up affecting the kidneys through other drugs that are surrounding this drug. And then the kidneys are unable to control blood pressure, therefore hypertension as a side effect. So you are treating hypertension and ending up with hypertension. Do you now get it? If you don't get it, if you don't get it, yeah. Amazing. He got it. He got it. Somebody has written here something long. Let me just read it from Wangari Kibunja. Wangari Kibunja says, I was in pharmaceutical marketing for more than 10 years. They are called medical representatives. I told you about them, med reps. Daktari, nisukumie hii dawa. Push this drug for me. I was in pharmaceutical marketing for more than 10 years. And when you talk about making diseases to sell drugs, that is so true. When you talk about paying doctors to prescribe drugs, I know because we did it. These are not my words. This is somebody who was in a medical representative field. She was doing the marketing, and the word is marketing. So the marketing comes in handy. It's not about the drugs to change your life. No, it's about selling these drugs so that the companies make a lot of money. And then she says, you have changed my life from juicing, and I'm better. Taking vegan diets, the beans and the vegetables used to give me gas and flatulence, but now with animal proteins and fats, I'm so good. Amazing. I have been fasting. Fasting now is better because I'm full for long. My skin is clearer. Do you just get that? If you're not on my YouTube channel, run there and just read the comment from Wangari Kibunja. It's not my comment. Thank you so much, Wangari, for sharing that with us. And on that note, next week on Tuesday, on the other platform, we are running a Testimonial Tuesday. Testimonial Tuesday. And you know how it goes? You bring in your testimony. You don't come in with questions. No, you bring in your testimony to inspire somebody. So you've been inspired by health and wellness sport. Now it's time for you to inspire other people. So when other people listen to you, they start thinking, okay, maybe because I'm going through the same condition, these can work for me. And when they try it and it works for them, they will have you to thank. So do not waste time. Come on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Kenyan time. Sit back and bring your testimony. We will be here to listen to you. Where will it be? It will be on TikTok Live and also on the Hose with Dr. Lewis. So we will not roll the Testimonial Tuesday on this platform. We will roll the Testimonial Tuesday on Hose with Dr. Lewis on YouTube. So I have 2 YouTube channels. So if you're here, you can actually go there and subscribe. One is Health and Wellness Sport, the one that I'm using right now. 30,000 people join that health train. You can't miss out on that. Let's smash the 100,000 and let's make them very jealous, of course. The other one is Hose, Haws with Dr. Lewis. Those are my only 2 platforms on YouTube. Okay, so go there and subscribe on those platforms and enjoy the content. It's free. And they will challenge you. So go there with an open mind, okay? Number 2, on TikTok, I have this platform. It's called Health and Wellness Sport. But of course, they strike my videos here all the time. They remove the voice and the sound and all that. And on TikTok, I've made a backup account that is going to be active. It is actually called Dr. Lewis Muchile on TikTok. So that's my second account. On Instagram and X, I exist as Lewis Muchile. On Facebook, also Lewis Muchile. However, there is an amazing platform called Telegram. Most of you think Telegram is just there to share pornography and all this bad content. That is your problem because that's what you search and then it comes to you. Avoid that. Go on Telegram and search this platform that is called Health and Wellness Sport on Telegram. That is my platform. That's my channel. I post there something new every single day. Something interesting. I post challenges there so you can learn from me from that. So go on my Telegram channel, Health and Wellness Sport, and join in. I think we are at about 6,200 people, so go there and join in. Let's make it even 100,000. It doesn't matter. We will get the information there. And there we don't filter anything. So we call the names the way they are. We say it the way it is. So go there and join it. And thank you for that. And then we have physical and online consultations that go on every single day. So online consultations are going on every single day in the evening when I come out of work or from work. Okay? And they happen in this conversation chamber as you see it. We also have physical consultations that happen every end of the month and sometimes the beginning of the month in Nairobi. So for those 2 consultations, please use the contact that Miki has posted there to book an appointment. Now, I will say these things here and then somebody will come and try to text me on my private number. It will be difficult for me to respond to you because trust me, I have all this information, all this list of things that are out there. And since you're coming to my inbox, I think it's only fair that you pay for my time, right? Imagine me doing all this research, reading, I went through the system, and now I just provide this information to you for free. I do 3 lives every week, and next week we are doing 4. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, before we break. So you can imagine, I do all that, I spend a lot of time and resources to bring you authentic information and interesting information. I even look for jokes. You should see me watching comedy so that I can come here and just smash you with the hey, yeah. And then imagine now you come to my inbox and you tell me, I've been your follower for 1 week, or I've been an ardent follower, and then I ask you for how long? For 1 day, and I think your information is making sense. However, I have this problem. I would like you to attend to me. Now that is actually you wasting time, right? It will not be fair. So let's be at least let's grow together. As you grow health-wise, let me grow also health-wise and also financially. So it's only fair that you book an appointment if you want something to do with us, and then we can actually use that. We can give you a whole hour of conversations. You will ask all those questions. Okay? You've seen me. I don't come here and tell you, hey, please tap, please send me gift. No, I don't do that. I come here to dish this information for free. And when somebody is touched, they actually reward us with gifts. They reward us with a like. They share their lives. They follow us. They give us super chats. And some of you send us money, man. It's so amazing, man. Okay? So, yeah, thank you so much anyway. And so, yeah, we will have to strike up on that one. And again, do not call that number at night. From around 8 all the way to 5, simply text. You will be responded to. It is my office contact. I can't put it here when I know you will not be responded to. Remember, the one who is handling that line also is a medic like me, and she has a lot of things to do also. But she does a good job in responding to all of you. Imagine that. So she spares her time to just respond to you. So she will respond definitely, trust me. And it doesn't take her a long time to respond. So simply text or WhatsApp, you will be answered. Okay. So don't be upset just because you called and it wasn't picked. Now you're like, Dr. Lazy, I called your office not being put, and now you're calling my private number. Allah. Yeah. Allow me to change other people's lives also. Okay. Good. Thank you. So that was drug number 3. Drug number 4. Which one? Which one is that? There is a drug that is called ezetimibe. Ezetimibe. This one is an interesting one because this one blocks your absorption of cholesterol from the gut. Imagine that. So this one blocks your absorption of cholesterol from the gut. So you've eaten a fatty meal and then you take this drug, you are not going to absorb any cholesterol. So you're going to end up in cholesterol deficiency. But this one is interesting because you will not absorb cholesterol and the liver will know, he's not bringing in cholesterol. What do I do? What do I do, class? Get more production of cholesterol. So this one is almost a waste of your time. Because you prevent absorption of cholesterol, the liver realizes, there's a deficiency, I have to compensate. So it makes more cholesterol. And now we'll now have to combine ezetimibe plus atorvastatin. Problems. Okay? So always open your mind and your head to just listen to these things. Those are the five, I think 5, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. Yes, 5 groups of cholesterol. Now, as I finish this conversation, what you need to know is that you need fat to lose fat. So cholesterol has never been a problem. When you want to lose fat or lose weight, eat more fats because they lower your insulin levels and then you start burning what you've stored, you lose weight. Number 2, your brain needs cholesterol to survive. If you don't eat cholesterol-rich foods, you'll end up losing memory. If you take drugs for cholesterol, you lose the memory. Number 3, your nerves need cholesterol for survival. For them to transmit impulses faster, they need cholesterol. Therefore, if you don't take foods that are rich in cholesterol, or if you ever take drugs that lower cholesterol, you'll end up having numbness and peripheral neuropathy because your nerves are unable now to transmit impulses actively. Number 4, you have hormones in the body that regulate your system. And these are hormones that actually come from cholesterol. They're called steroid hormones. One of them is cortisol, a stress hormone. The other one is aldosterone, a hormone that regulates blood pressure. Others are the sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So if you ever lower your cholesterol levels, of course, you'll end up having problems with hormonal imbalance and men will have erectile dysfunction. Therefore, we'll give you more drugs to actually treat the side effects of just one drug. Another thing that you should know is prostaglandins are actually other hormones that come from cholesterol, and their role is, 1, to give you pain so that they can show you there's a problem in the system. They come from cholesterol. Number 2, prostaglandins help you to contract the uterus so that you expel the worn out uterus during menstrual cycle. So they are very important. They even help you during childbirth. And also, they increase blood flow towards the kidneys. So prostaglandins are very important. They also improve cellular communication, cell-to-cell communication. And that is why you need cholesterol, because you'll produce these hormones that will actually help you in these functions. And then vitamin D is another hormone that is called cholecalciferol and actually comes from cholesterol. So if you avoid cholesterol-rich foods, if you lower cholesterol, you'll end up having low immunity because vitamin D plays a very important role in your immunity. You'll also end up having osteomalacia or osteoporosis because vitamin D actually plays a very important role in your bone development. Okay? So now if you avoid this low immunity, so therefore another drug for infections, basically antibiotics. And then you end up having calcium supplements and vitamin D supplements just because you're not eating fatty meats, just because you're taking drugs that actually lower cholesterol. Most importantly, your skin and your muscles have cells that actually are made up of cholesterol. So if you don't take cholesterol, or if you foods that are rich in cholesterol, or if you take drugs that lower cholesterol, you will end up having muscle wasting and very, very bad structure or physique. Okay? And then above all, your cells are covered by a lipid bilayer, that is fats. You need fats to make sure that the cells are actually having a good integrity. They covered well and they have a good integrity, okay? And then, of course, the major one, cholesterol comes in to cover wounds that are caused by sugar and the seed oil. So cholesterol actually comes in to fix inflammation that is caused by the inflammatory foods. If you've not watched live, I talked about inflammatory foods. Simply go on my YouTube channel, Health and Wellness Sport. Press the live button. It will give you all the lives that we've done. Look for one that is talking about inflammatory foods and look at the seed oils, the wheat, and the sugars. You will understand it even better. And then finally, cholesterol is used to make bile, and bile is actually something that actually helps you to digest fat and absorb fat-soluble vitamins. So if you don't have cholesterol, or if you're using drugs that lower cholesterol, you end up in cholesterol deficiency. You will not produce enough bile. You will have gallstones. You will have mineral deficiencies and vitamin deficiencies, specifically vitamin A, D, E, and K deficiencies. Therefore, you'll need a supplement. So now you see why these foods are very important for you. Now you see why those drugs that lower cholesterol are not as necessary as you think they are. If you change your kitchen, you will not need to take a drug that is supposed to lower cholesterol. On that note, allow me to talk about the misconceptions that actually have surrounded our fats. One, that fats are very dangerous, and when you eat fat, you will add weight, is a lie. The more you eat fat, the more you lose weight because you maintain insulin at low, and therefore you start losing weight. Number two, on that note, as you're eating those fats, how much fats can you eat in one sitting? Not a lot, okay? Because fats are satiety and they suppress appetite. And then they produce a lot of energy. So they give you a long period of time before you feel hungry. That's what we are targeting because we want you to fast. So when you eat fatty meats now, the next time you're feeling hungry will be after a very long period of time. And these fats will also help you not to overeat the protein because we said when you overeat lean protein, you will end up converting the amino acids into glucose and that will bring you a problem, okay? So now you understand that these fats are not the ones that are causing you weight gain. The fats that are causing you weight gain are actually dietary carbohydrates that are being converted to fats and they add you weight. They spike insulin, and insulin is a storage hormone. So when your insulin is always high, you're always storing, you're always adding weight. That's also one of the side effects of insulin therapy in diabetics. You end up adding weight. So you're actually treating diabetes, and then you end up adding weight. Yet your problem is actually in the weight, the fat cells. So that's a problem. That's why insulin therapy kizungumkuti. Number two, do not confuse vegetable oils with the saturated fats. Saturated fats are the ones that don't have double bonds. They are stable, they don't oxidize, even at high temperatures. The liquid oils, which are the vegetables or the seed oils, one, they don't have any vegetable in them. They come from seeds, that is the sunflower, the safflower, the canola, the corn, the cotton. They are not supposed to be consumed. They are actually going to bring you problems. And mostly those that are coming from the industries because they have been processed, they have been passed through high temperatures, and the problem is they come already oxidized, and then you again oxidize them through cooking and deep frying. So it's a crime. They'll cause you systemic inflammation, and there shall be a serious problem with your health because of systemic inflammation, okay? And then the liquid ones, the more clear the liquid, even the worse it is. Now listen to me keenly. If you're going to the supermarket shelves to just scan which liquid oil is clear so that you think this one's the healthy one, you are wasting time. It's still a seed oil. It is unsaturated. It is unhealthy and unstable. Drop it. Go for the saturated fats. The ghee, the tallow, the coconut oil, the lard, the butter, the cheese. All those are healthy fats for consumption and for cooking. Use them even to deep fry. Cow fat is what we call tallow. Okay? Yeah, so consume that. Any animal fat is healthy for you and your consumption. Okay? Now, another misconception is they lie to you that the way the tallow solidifies on your plate is the same way it will solidify in your blood vessels. Now, I want you to be very open-minded. Anytime a doctor tells you that, tell them, why does it, how comes that this fat will just go direct into the bloodstream and solidify into the bloodstream, yet it does not solidify into the gut? I thought it's supposed to solidify first in your intestines, clog your intestines. But my intestines are not clogged. Why is it just going to clog the arteries? Also remind your doctor that these fats are not absorbed in the blood vessels. No, they don't go into the bloodstream. They are absorbed in the small intestines into the lymphatic system. We call it the luteal vessels, the lymphatic system. And then they are carried all the way to the fat. Until we need energy, we burn the fat to give you the healthy energy that is coming from the fats. But these fats cannot clog your arteries because they are not absorbed in the blood vessel. Sugar is the one that clogs your arteries. And we talked about the HbA1c phenomenon and the concept of HbA1c, how sugar attaches red blood cells and becomes a problem. So stop blaming cholesterol for what sugar cost you, okay? Yeah. So if you just see that fat solidifying on your plate and somebody is telling you this is how they solidify in the stomach or in the blood vessel, tell them, please, don't lie to me because I have bile. And bile is coming in to actually make them more soluble. Okay? So why do I produce bile? Daktari, why am I producing bile? If you're telling me that what I'm seeing on the plate is what is going to happen in the blood vessels, stop lying to me. Okay? Good. And then another one is, they say saturated fats will cause you stroke and heart attack. That is not true. Sugar is the reason why you have a stroke. Sugar is the reason why you have a heart attack, because it clogs the arteries and causes you atherosclerosis, narrowing and thickening of blood vessels, and makes them very rigid. So hypertension, and then stroke, and then heart attack. So sugar is the problem in all forms, including fruits and honey. Okay? Yes. And then another one which is crazy, and all of you keep telling me, after eating my fatty meat, I take a glass of warm water so that I can dissolve the fat. You're lying to yourself. Most of the times you're taking seed oils. It's not even about the fatty meat. So you take your diet that the meat was floating in seed oils. And now you want to convince your psychology that you want to lead a healthy life. So you end up taking either lemon water or warm water after the meal. And your mindset is, because when I wash my plates, I use warm water, this is going to also wash my gut. That I just eat the seed oils and then I drink a glass of warm water, and this warm water will dissolve the fat. Is a lie. Fat cannot dissolve in water. It is hydrophobic, sorry, and it cannot dissolve in water. But fat is made soluble when it gets into the small intestine, and that's the function of bile. So therefore, don't eat seed oils or meat that has been cooked in seed oils and then go ahead and take warm water thinking that it dissolves the fat. Is a waste of time. So thank you so much for listening. And if there's nobody here who is willing to have a conversation with me, we can call it a Friday so that people go and check out Manchester United being hammered. Is there anybody who is willing to have a conversation with us on TikTok? I don't think so. Which means it's time for us to call it a night. So good. Tomorrow, go back to the live and just check out the live. Enjoy it. Just enjoy the live. There are so much things that we teach on these platforms. Okay? If you want a physical or online consultation with us, simply use that contact to book your consultations. Now, at least at this moment in time, I know I have done you justice. I believe I've done you justice. Okay? I've done you justice. So who is here? Sumaya Households. Let's see. About 3 people, and then we call it a night. Yes, good. Sumaya, make it faster for us so that we can call it a night.
Sure. How are you, Doctor?
I'm good. How are you, Sumaya?
I'm good also. I was asking, can I fast for 7-day water fast?
What is the benefit of fasting? Why do you want to fast?
I want to lose weight most.
But fasting is not support. But fasting is not a weight loss program. Fasting is a way of life, okay? So fasting is not a weight loss program, but it can actually help you lower insulin. So you cannot fast, and then when you start eating, you eat unhealthy foods. Where are you from?
I'm from Isiolo.
Oh, people from Isiolo, Marsabit, Wajir, and all these counties. What they do is they do the religious fast, which is very healthy for them. But when they break that fast, they eat all the crappy foods. So you cannot just start fasting without having embraced healthy eating, which means you have to drop the seed oils, the wheat products, and the sugars. And then now once you start adapting, you've done that already?
Yes.
Good. Now you can do. Actually, start by doing this, okay? Simply start by maybe an alternate fast. So you can actually do, you eat today, let's say you eat tomorrow at noon, right? And then you take about 36 hours and then you eat again. So you do that for 1 week, and by the end of that week, you push a 48-hour fast. And then do that for about 4 weeks. After those 4 weeks, if there's no change, now you can push your prolonged fast, the water fast.
Okay.
But it's always healthy to do a 5-day fast, not necessarily a 7 days. Just go for 5 days at maximum, and that's enough.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for that. People from Marsabit, people from Isiolo, people from Mandera and Wajir and Garissa. These people eat a lot of seed oils, a lot of sugars, a lot of rice, a lot of injera and pastas and these processed foods. And then the weird part is they also use a lot of seed oils. And they even add sugar in rice and all that. And then when they break the fast, they eat the most unhealthy foods. Imagine you break a fast, then you eat rice and spaghetti and beans and injera. The whole plate is carbohydrates and sugar and yeah. They break a fast with soda. Who breaks a fast with soda? Hey, yeah. Where? Yani unakunywa soda we. How can you fast for 5 days or for 12 hours and then you break that fast with soda? And they say, You know, let me thank myself with soda. This is blackcurrant. You know, blackcurrant adds blood, right? So I've fasted now. I don't have blood. Let me just drink soda. The blackcurrant will add me blood. Hey, yes, Ndungu. Is it Ndungu or something? Who is this?
Yes, it is.
Ah, how are you, bro?
I'm very good.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm liking your channel.
Amazing.
In such a way, I'm actually adopted
Yeah.
everything that you say
Thank you, man.
in such a way that uh, I've done quite a number of things that you have actually said in your channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing, bro. How do you feel so far?
I'm not so sure whether I'm fine because I'm not in that space of medical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been identified by my doctors there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm actually in South Africa, right?
Okay, okay.
Exactly. But I've been identified by these doctors that I rely on, that I've got hypertension.
Yeah.
And the other one, the one that you call cholesterol.
Yeah.
So now my concern is they told me that I should stop eating fatty meat and all of those things. After I've listened to you, I've been eating that whole thing.
Amazing.
Fatty meat and all of those things. So I just wanted to find out from you is that what is it that I should I eat this fatty meat?
Yes, bro. Why would you avoid fatty meats? Are you afraid of cholesterol?
That's what I'm told by my doctor. My doctor told me that I shouldn't eat fatty meat because it's going to increase my cholesterol, and my cholesterol is high.
So, no, is your cholesterol already high?
That's what they say.
Oh, good. And
what myself here at home.
Have you been consuming fatty meats?
I've been consuming fatty meats all along.
All your life?
Yeah, I eat meat. Meat is my meat, my food.
Meat is your meat. Amazing. Now, what are your sources of carbohydrates?
It's I don't know whether you know this.
Mm-hmm.
This pap that we call here in South Africa, but it is actually maize. You know maize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That maize, but it is pap.
Okay.
We call it pap.
Have you been consuming? Have you been consuming animal fats, or have you been using seed oils before?
Animal. No. I'm not so sure of these seeds because I've changed from canola oil and all of those things, sunflower oil to what is this other oil? It's sunflower. No, sunflower oil. What is this other oil, man? Yeah, it is highly recommended here in South Africa.
So what does your doctor recommend as a cooking oil?
Yeah, what's this oil, man? I'm forgetting. I don't want to take your time here. What is this oil, man? But it is a certain oil that sunflower oil.
No problem. How long have you practiced healthy eating or healthy living?
I've started maybe about 3 months ago.
Consistently?
Olive oil. That's the term that's the oil that I was talking about.
Okay. So you use olive oil for your cooking?
Yeah, I do have the coconut oil as well in my household.
Since when?
But yeah, I do have that, but because I'm using it for my facial or for my body, so I feel like not eating it.
Why?
I don't know.
But what is on your skin is exactly a reflection of what is in your gut. Anyway, that's a story for another day. So, have you been consuming wheat products?
I stopped that since I started listening to you. I'm not eating wheat at all. I've got about three months now without eating wheat because of that.
And how many meals do you do in a day?
I start eating at about, I don't know the time zone, whether this is going to affect it. 12 o'clock, I start eating. I don't eat in the morning. I start eating at about 12, 1 o'clock, or maybe when I come back home, I start eating.
And what is your current body weight? What is your current body weight?
It's, what is it? 91
kilograms.
Kilograms.
Amazing. So, have you lost any weight in those 3 months?
I have lost it.
How much kgs?
I have lost it because I was 100.
Okay.
And then I dropped 99, 100. Let me just say 100 to be on the safe side.
Are you able to do 1 meal a day? Just one?
I do. Actually, that's what I do.
Oh.
I do 1 meal every day.
At noon?
No. Around during the day, around between 12 and 3 o'clock.
Okay. Why don't you just put your meals constant at 3 o'clock and you go on a zero carbohydrate diet totally? And then go on using animal fats. Drop the olive oil and simply use tallow or ghee or the coconut oil.
Tallow oil. You do have tallow oil? I never heard of that.
Tallow is the beef fat. You just go to the butcherman and tell them to give you that fat, and then you put in a sufuria. You put low heat. It renders the fat. That is tallow.
Oh, okay. So I go to the butcher and ask them to
give you the fats.
The fats.
Yes.
Okay.
And then,
so how dangerous it is to eat animal fat?
How long have you been on this? How long have you been on this life?
I've been with you for more than 6 months.
And how is it possible you can ask me the danger of animal fats when I keep on preaching about animal fats?
I don't know because I never ate animal fats.
That actually tells me there's a lot of gaps in your statement, because you told me you eat fatty meats. Now you're saying you don't eat. You don't know. You're not sure about the animal fats, but you've been eating fatty meats. So what do you mean?
No, I'm not. No, I eat meat. Like I'm telling you,
meat,
I eat meat.
Fatty meats or just meat?
Fats anyway. Then, but when I'm frying my food,
do you eat lean meat or do you eat fatty meat?
I eat both. I eat both of them. But I because you said we can eat fatty meat, I eat fatty now. But my doctor said I shouldn't eat it.
So your doctor told you to avoid fatty meats?
Yes.
Did you avoid?
No, I avoided it before I met you. Because I was identified before I met you.
So what are your cholesterol levels now, after you met me?
I haven't tested it. Now.
Why don't you take
Give me some kind of medication, and I'm reluctant to use that kind of medication. Not even before I met you. I'm somebody who does not want to use medication consistently. I never used medication up until I was identified. So now I was told that you need to use this thing for life. I said no ways.
Do you drink alcohol?
Yes, I do.
Amazing. And you've been following me for how long?
I'm sorry about that.
And you've been following me for how long again?
Yes, I am. YouTube, I'm there.
Amazing. To drop the bottle, we can have a good conversation. But hey!
But how do I do that?
How do you do what? How do you drop alcohol?
No, it is not as easy as what you think, guys, because you haven't started this thing. You know, we started it, and now we are stuck with it.
You simply drop
Never
the
knew that.
simply walk out of the bar and go and raise the bar. Go and lift the bar, and then you can come. We can have a conversation. Bro, alcohol has impaired your judgment. You're not even making any sense. You're here, you're there, you're confused. Estrogen is going up, and hey, I don't miss those days. I can assure you, I don't miss those days. Alcohol. Hey, brother. Talk to me when you're sober, bro. We can have a good conversation. But alcohol is actually bringing you a lot of problems right now. It's hard for us to have a conversation that is actually sober when we are not sober. Okay? One of us is sober, the other one is alcohol. And then, that's the only thing that was missing in that conversation. Yes, yes.
Hey, doctor, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. Actually, I'm a follower. But I just joined your live today.
Amazing.
It's really bringing back some memories for me, because it's like some things that I've experienced before that were not open to me, were not clear. It's now clear now.
Amazing.
Because it's now clear now. I want to quickly before I ask you my question.
Yes.
I want to quickly give a very short story. I won't really waste much of it, because I know people are like requesting.
Yeah.
There was a man that I used to know, a very elderly man, one of the elders in my town then.
Mm-hmm.
So he fell down. He fell down. I think he had a dislocation. So he was like kind of bedridden.
Mm-hmm.
So they started giving him drugs to lower his cholesterol. They started giving him high blood pressure drugs. You know, he used to be a very active man. All of a sudden, he started losing his memory. He started, a lot of things happened to him on that bed.
Yeah.
And eventually, we lost the man. And the reason why I'm pained is that he was someone that I used to know, he was very active, and he just had a dislocation. It was not as if he had a stroke or something.
Yeah.
Because of the drugs they keep giving him, it led to his death, and it's so painful.
Yeah.
It's so painful, and I just wish that I knew a platform like this, or I met someone like you. Even I'm sure that I wouldn't have lost my mom last year, because she was on insulin. She was taking insulin. She was taking drugs for cholesterol. You know, these doctors. I think it's actually like a pandemic, because a lot of doctors just lead us astray and all these things. If we actually have doctors that are very sound and they can tell us, don't do this, don't take this. A lot of people have just been taking drugs.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to you while I was like trying to make my baby sleep, and when you said you take a drug, it gives you a side effect, you get another drug for that side effect, take another drug for the side effect of that side effect.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know putting all these things inside us. So although a lot of people think it is hereditary and all that, because my dad used to have high blood pressure before he died, my mom too, my sister, even me myself now. And when I start thinking about my family, the kind of life I've built so far, the kind of things I've worked hard for, and it's not looking like, okay, one day I will just sleep and I will just, go off like that. It gives me this, I don't know how to put it. First of all, I'm Nigerian and I stay in the UK.
Mm.
And, we're having there's Nigerians, and it's somehow, because a lot of us now, in fact, we have just two sicknesses in Nigeria now. It's either you have diabetes or you have high blood pressure, or you have both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like everywhere. It's like everybody has it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to move away from that. I don't know how to put it. Like I said, I just joined your channel.
Yeah.
I followed you before, but I'm just on your live today.
Oh, okay.
And I think this is my new TV now, because I want to I'll be listening to this as soon as it come live every time.
Amazing.
I'm not really a mobile person, TikTok person, but I like educative and sound programs. So I want you to enlighten me on maybe the things I would eat. I heard you talking to the man that just left.
Yeah.
That if you you can stick to a meal per day and 0 carb.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like 6'4", and I weigh about 120 kg.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like very huge and tall.
I want you to do this.
So they're saying, okay.
There is always a place you start, okay? So first things first.
Okay.
One, what is your cooking oil?
Honestly, doctor, I don't know anything about cooking. I just eat. Because my wife does most of the cooking. But I think we have the regular vegetable oil. I think that's what we use. But we use air fryer actually. I don't really use oil anyways.
Now, go and buy either ghee or butter or coconut oil.
Okay, any butter?
Yes. The darker the butter, the better. The darker the butter, the better, because it shows you it's grass-fed.
The darker the butter. The one I have here is it said it's made from natural ingredients. You know, I told you I stay in the UK, so the butter we have here is I don't know, I don't know what to call this, but it's actually butter.
Yeah, so you can use butter or you can use coconut oil. Those two.
Coconut oil.
Yes, or butter.
Yeah, because I know you were talking about fatty oil from fat. I don't know if you can get that.
Fat from animals.
So
animal fats. All animal fats.
Animal fats, because most of the things here, they are mostly processed, they are mostly sealed. You just buy them and just eat. And I'm trying to like avoid all these things.
There's somebody who is saying you can get ghee from international food stores.
Okay, Asda and Tesco. Regular, okay, I'll check.
That is one. Number two, for the sake of time, because I have to run now. For the sake of time, number two, if you're eating any wheat products and any processed foods, drop them.
Okay.
Number three, any sugar, including fruits and honey, drop them.
Okay.
So start from that. Start from changing your cooking oil, and then drop the sugars in all forms, including fruits and honey, except avocado. And then drop the wheat products totally, whether processed or non-processed. Drop all wheat products. Start from there and push yourself for about 2 to 3 weeks.
Rice.
Yes, all that. Drop the rice, drop the fufus, and all that.
Okay.
And then you can easily go on basically 1 meal or 2 meals a day. One at noon, one in the evening.
Okay.
Do not eat anything in the morning. Just rehydrate with water and salt.
Yeah, okay.
And then go to my YouTube channel. It's called Health and Wellness Sport. Find a video.
I've subscribed to your YouTube channel.
Yes, on that Health and Wellness Sport, there is a video that is labeled Natural Ways to Reverse the Metabolic Syndrome.
Okay.
Sit down and enjoy that movie. I'll call it a movie. Enjoy that video, and then everything that is in that video, practice it to the latter. You will thank me later.
Okay.
Natural ways to reverse the metabolic syndrome.
Okay, yeah, I've written that down.
Good.
I've written it down.
Amazing.
One last question: is there anything wrong with air fryers? Because my wife just wants me to get air fryer, and I just got it, and I don't know if it's safe to use.
No, I think they are safe, but I'm still actually doing some research about the air fryer so that I can come out with information that is actually authentic. So for now, I'll hold back my thoughts on that until that time. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, doctor. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, it's time for us to call it a night. I think we've gone over, but we've done 2 hours, 2 minutes. That's a long one. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you here. There's somebody who is asking if hibiscus is good for blood pressure and cholesterol. Please, the answer is this. You're not taking hibiscus to lower your cholesterol. You're eating bad foods that are causing you problems with the system. The sugars, drop all that. Hibiscus is not coming in to solve your problem. Hibiscus is just a rehydrated fluid. Okay, so you don't take it to lower your cholesterol and to change your blood pressure. Blood pressure is in the kitchen. So hibiscus is not coming in to change anything. Okay, so yeah, you can use hibiscus tea, but don't hope that hibiscus tea is coming in to change everything for you. Now, thank you so much for joining in. This is Dr. Lewis from the Health and Wellness Spot, and I appreciate all of you. It's just amazing to just dispense this information to all of you. Now, my YouTube channel, Health and Wellness Spot. The other YouTube channel is Hose with Dr. Lewis. My TikTok platform is Health and Wellness Sport. The other one is Dr. Lewis Muchile. My Telegram channel, the most important one, run there. It's called Health and Wellness Sport, and join that conversation there. Join other people who have lived this life and they understand the basics of this. Share your stories there. Ask your questions there. People will actually answer you. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you for everybody who is on my Telegram channel who is actually answering and putting in efforts to make sure that I'm not always there to answer the question, but they can do that for me. Thank you for everybody who logs in my platforms to just get this information for free. And thank you for those of you who refer people to us for the online and physical consultations. Also, thank you for subscribing on my channel. I'll appreciate if you ever smash 100,000 within no periods of no problem. But if you don't, no problem. We'll not stop. Okay, so keep on supporting us. Thank you for each and every one of you. Sule being on top of the list of people who gifted us. I appreciate all of you who took time to gift us, all of you who took time to just like our live and share it. And also those of you who just took time to sit here to be part of us in this conversation. Thank you so much. It shall never be taken for granted. Now, we are going to start on Monday. We'll do a live on Monday. We'll do a testimonial Tuesday. So on Tuesday, we have another live. But this is on the new platform on YouTube and also Telegram. Not Telegram, on TikTok. So please go and subscribe on that Hose with Dr. Lewis, because that's where the conversation will go on. Come on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Kenyan time, sit here, share your testimony, encourage other people, inspire other people, because you are inspired to inspire. Do the same, okay? And have a good night, and we hope that we can see you on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, and on Friday as we take a break. Remember, our physical consultations in Nairobi will start on 27th all the way to the 7th of September. So be there. So thank you so much for everything, and I say good night to all of you.